Mac, I know that you don't work in a traditional office setting, but let me ask you this question. Bathroom etiquette. If you're in a conversation in the bathroom, you're at a urinal, you're talking with someone,
Hmm.
do you have to say bye to them when you're leaving?
No, definitely not.
No, you just walk away, right?
Yeah, so maybe like a catch you later type thing, but not like a real buy.
Yeah, I had a situation the other day where, you're peeing next to somebody. You're looking at each other's dicks, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But I then leave said conversation. I wash my hands. And as I'm walking out, this person's still peeing. Long stream. They say, talk to you later. But the conversation was over. It's kind of awkward, right?
I don't mind to talk to you later. That's a gray area. Like nothing needs to be said, but also if the conversation ends abruptly because your piss ends abruptly, then I don't know. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. It doesn't bother me too much.
So what would be off limits to you then?
Well, first of all, if how many urinals are in your workplace bathroom? Is it
Two
an
urinals, three turlets.
Oh, so no matter what, you have to piss next to someone at the urinal.
Almost always.
That's poor form. You gotta build in three, knowing that only lunatics are gonna use the middle one. So now you're up close and personal with someone, so you almost have to do like a little joke, lighten the mood a little bit as you're staring at each other's cocks.
And I guess, too, the question is, are you okay with, going number two in your office / when someone's in there?
Yeah, see, this is where it's a little bit of a disconnect for me. I work 24-hour shifts, so you have to go number two at work.
24-hour shits?
But we have three different bathrooms in my firehouse. You have one on the first floor that's like sort of the public could possibly use if they came by, and like that's down next to the gym.
Whoa, we just skimmed over something here. So if I have to take a dump and I'm walking by a firehouse, they have to let me go?
I don't know. I don't know what the rule is by town and by station. Ever since COVID has happened, we're less likely to let someone in. But if someone really just needs to go, we'll let them into the bathroom. It's a public building, so
I'll be keeping that in my
what are you
back
gonna
pocket.
And then upstairs we have two bathrooms, a male and a female. But if there's not a female there during your shift, you might see someone go in there and use that as the number two bathroom.
Yeah, because I have generally, if you walk in there and you see people, you don't want to look eye to eye and then be like, I'm gonna go take a shit.
Just here to take a shit. Don't mind me.
Yeah, usually if you walk in there and there are people in there, you'll just, kind of go off to the side and pee, and then you'll leave for a second, and when everyone leaves, you'll kind of walk back in. But there are times where I'm like, I gotta go, and it's gonna fall up.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'm also the type that probably like an hour after I finish my morning coffee, it's coming, no matter where I am, who I'm with. So I know that in my mind though, so I'm already like pre-planning that.
One goo, three, yeah. Goo, just three. Goo, King of Queens. Goo, Meryl Streep. Goo, entertainment.
I'm Goo.
I'm Mick.
What a way to open a podcast. Pee pee poo poo talk.
Now, am I the pee-pee or are you the pee-pee of this podcast?
I think you're the poo poo.
I'm the number two, but my name comes first in the program title.
Yeah, but who starts every episode? Who announces themselves?
No one
first?
says shit and piss, though. They say piss and shit.
Yeah, but also you can't have shit without piss.
Well, that's true. That is true. You can piss without shitting, though. So I guess that makes you piss.
This podcast is off the rails, my man.
Today, folks.
Yeah.
We are talking. Is that title correct? Volume 6 down there.
Volume 6. We've done 5 of these, and we haven't done one in a year.
And we're finally into the second list of 100 films. Correct.
We're like halfway through the second list.
Okay, maybe not even. We are talking canceled movies, Volume 6. This, of course, stems from a Twitter thread, or X thread, I guess, as it will be known now, from Only Film Media that they put out there, I think 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, where they had a 3 individual threads of 100 movies
Yes.
that almost happened.
Mhm.
We came up with a tighter name. We're calling it Canceled Movies. And so far, I think we've talked probably about 120 of them.
And once again, thank you to them. And in the span of us doing these podcasts, I think we started doing them back 2020 maybe. That account has gone unactive, deactive. They haven't been active.
They haven't tweeted in like 2 years.
No, but they're back now.
Oh, they are.
They are. So
Really?
if you're listening, thank you. And also thank you to @snooze_bar. Of course, last week we said we are running out of ideas while there are no movies. And he said, canceled movies?
We really could have just been doing individual episodes for Ahsoka. That might have been better for us.
You didn't want to do that. You said
Yeah,
that
okay.
No. Oh, whoa. And I like that we're wasting time right now. But back when I was doing my critically acclaimed, more popular podcast, I've Got WandaVision, you said,
Yeah.
I hate episode recap podcasts. I refuse to do them. And I said, all right, Mac, I will venture out onto my own and become a far more successful podcaster than you. Your hand is up. What do you say?
I did say that, but that was pertaining to an MCU that was fit to have 30 shows coming out. And more specifically, I said I hate episode recap podcasts, that the episode of the podcast is longer than the episode they're talking about. So we could have done 20-minute Ahsoka episodes. It would have been perfect.
You know what would have been nice is if you said this to me, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago.
Well, we're halfway through. We got 4 more left. Maybe we'll do a one previewing the finale if it's setting up well, and then one for the finale, obviously, like we always do.
Or if you like tonight's episode, I'm going to see you tomorrow at Idle Hands. I'll just turn your microphone and just talk to me.
Okay. All right. And
I'll hit the record button too.
I would say that Ahsoka has about 20 years of buildup, unlike the MCU shows. So it's a little difference, but
it's a little bit different. But Mac, today we are here to talk canceled movies, and just like the other podcasts in which we do this, as soon as we hit the 45-minute mark on my little Rodecaster Pro or Rode Procaster, I don't know what this board is called.
Yeah.
Once the 45-minute mark shows, we put a pin in whatever topic we're on, whatever movie we're on, and we just dive right into your sack.
Yeah, baby.
So the last one that we spoke about
was that Marvel crossover.
Yes, it was the 2011 Marvel crossover, Fox Marvel crossover, and we said we don't need this. By the way, Mac, what we're looking for here with these movies is, yay or nay. Would you have wanted this? Should this have been made? Are you disappointed it hasn't been made, that it wasn't made? Would you like this done now? Would you like to take another stab at it?
And some of these we have seen come to fruition, and maybe another form or piece of the idea ended up becoming a different movie. So this has some validity even for the next few years in film.
And we shall ping pong back and forth. And the first movie I have up here from, once again, at Only Film Media, in 2002, at J.J. Abrams wrote a Superman film titled Superman Flyby, a story that included Krypton besieged by a civil war between Jor-El and his corrupt brother Katazor. Before Katazor sentences Jor-El to prison, Kal-El is launched to Earth to fulfill his prophecy.
So first of all, initial reaction, Flyby is a terrible name for a movie.
Yes.
Secondary to that, I think that what we've been missing from Superman movies in general is sort of a Krypton-centric story. Now, I don't know if we need that, though, but there is an avenue there that hasn't been explored yet. I wonder if we get that in James Gunn's DC movie. I'm open to that, and I think I'm going to be open to it in this new DCU. It's almost like if you spend the whole movie on Krypton, people are probably going to be disappointed because they want that whole wow moment of Superman's reveal on Earth,
I thought what you were going to say is what we haven't gotten from Superman yet is J.J. Abrams' take on it.
Well, listen, J.J. Abrams is either hot or not. There's no in between. It's either the best thing you've ever seen or not very good.
I'd
Not very
argue
good.
he's just always right in the middle. It's always
No.
pretty good.
No, there's been some pretty bad stuff, and
I
some
don't think
also
you can name
all-time
anything.
great stuff.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Batman vs. Godzilla almost got made in 1966. To actually battle the king of the monsters, Batman and his sidekicks would have utilized several vehicles to engage in combat, including the Batmobile, the Batcopter, and the Batcycle.
Okay, so when you first read this, and even before getting to 1966, you're like, this sounds amazing. And then you say 66, that's a little campy. But then you really think about it, this sounds amazing. This would have been, when I was a kid, if I had saw this, this would have blown me away.
Batman versus some kaiju is not something I want. The essence of that we get in Power Rangers, and Power Rangers is super cheesy. I don't think you want to go down that path with Batman. In 66, you could have.
Yeah.
I don't think the movie would have looked very good then. Even with all the CGI today, it would have looked terrible. So I don't think I need this movie.
But if you put, like, if you had Ben Affleck fight Godzilla from Bryan Cranston's Godzilla, that'd look pretty cool.
No, it wouldn't.
What if he fought Bryan Cranston?
As Zordon?
Movies are back. Mac, did you know that George Miller, known for Mad Max Fury Road, almost directed a Justice League film in 2007 called Justice League Mortal, with a cast of DJ Cortana as Superman, Armie Hammer, where's he been, as Batman, Megan Gale as Wonder Woman, and Adam Brody as The Flash. And I'll tell you what, Adam Brody as The Flash, that's pretty good casting.
So I've definitely heard
this too.
Of this movie and how it almost got made. Now, I think George Miller is a good director if you want nonstop action. I think we've seen the best version of these superhero movies aren't nonstop action. There's a really good character building involved, whether in a first movie or a prior movie. I don't think this would have been very good as George Miller is.
Having said what you just said, 2007, if we got a nonstop action Justice League movie, that would have been pretty dope.
So it also would have been kind of confusing because didn't Begins come out in 2005? So you would have had Armie Hammer as Batman and
How
Christian Bale.
old was Armie Hammer in 2007? Because
Probably
I know
like
that he
25.
Because he was still gossip girling at that time.
Yeah, he was probably pretty young. That would have
That's a
really
young Batman.
confused the fans if you had Christian Bale's Dark Knight come out the same year as this Justice League movie without Christian Bale in it.
What if what Armie Hammer says in the movie is, I'm the real Batman? Everyone's like, wait, why do you keep saying that?
And then you have Batman v. Batman in the sequel.
Don't tease me with a good time.
That sounds like a movie you would build in a Mac v. Goo.
Batman v. Batman plus Batman with more Batman.
Goo!
Divided by Batman.
In 1997, that's good bat math right there. In 1997, Ridley Scott had signed a contract to direct the third film adaptation of I Am Legend. Arnold Schwarzenegger was attached to portray Dr. Robert Neville. However, the project was canceled due to budgetary concerns on March 16th, 1998. Now, before you go, Goo, what do they mean by third film adaptation of I Am Legend? Was there two prior ones?
Probably cheaper ones, I would assume. We should have done some research.
So was the Will Smith one the third one that ends up coming out?
I would assume so. And now can we get back to May?
Yeah.
I'm glad this wasn't made.
Yeah, really glad. I actually really love that I Am Legend movie. And then once you learn what the book ending is, you realize that movie could have been significantly better. So it makes you like the movie a little less. But that character played by Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been fucking terrible.
This is also post Mr. Freeze. Like, this is when he was on his decline. Like, this isn't early 90s, late 80s, nothing can stop Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is back-end Schwarzenegger.
I think one of the two next movies he makes was that world-ending movie that was fucking terrible. I forget the name of it, but it was really, really bad. One of the worst movies ever made.
Mac, did you know that in 2007 it was reported that Guillermo del Toro was working on a spiritual sequel to Pan's Labyrinth titled 3993? It's like Arizona. It's one of those
Sure.
What's the word?
Palindromes?
Palindrome. Thank you. Just like poop. However, Del
and
Toro
race car.
scrapped the project after deciding to direct Hellboy 2.
So I like his Hellboy movies, don't love them. I've actually never seen Pan's Labyrinth. That's a blind spot for me. I know that's a universally loved film by both fans and critics. It seems like based on where Hellboy is now, he probably should have made a second Pan's Labyrinth movie, but maybe that would have ruined
Spiritual
Pan's Labyrinth.
sequel. It's not a Pan's Labyrinth.
Well,
it's like,
same universe sort of stuff. Yeah. I
what
get
was
they're going for.
there was Dazed and Confused, and then there was that college baseball movie where they're like, this is the spiritual sequel, but it has nothing to do with Dazed and Confused.
Well, it's like the what is it? Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. It's that type of thing. Whatever you'd like to call that.
Yes, correct.
Yes, indeed, indubitably. I don't know. The Hellboy franchise has gone downhill. I feel like you could have made a spiritual sequel to Pan's Labyrinth. Oh, my turn.
Yes, it is.
My turn. In March 2011, it was announced that Tim Burton was attached to direct a film of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which was supposed to feature and be co-produced by Josh Brolin, but the film has been scrapped.
Like, I guess that you have the right director to pull off something like this, but also what? Okay, so actually, Hunchback of Notre Dame might have been interesting because it's a sugar-coated, like, really dark story that Disney put out there. So maybe if they allowed it to be as dark as it's supposed to be, it might have been one of their better ones. You know what? I just talked myself into this. I don't know if I would have wanted Burton's version of it, but a Hunchback of Notre Dame movie might have been good.
I think he sort of made this movie, and it was called Edward Scissorhands. So I don't think you needed to get it again.
But Hunchback of Notre Dame has more to do with like it's an anti-church movie.
It's deeper.
A weird Disney anti-church
It is deeper
movie.
than that for sure,
Yeah.
but it's of the same ilk. Hear me out. This would have been a spiritual sequel. I think
Johnny Depp would have been in it.
I think the Tim Burton of 20 years prior could have made this movie and maybe made it work. 2011, Tim Burton was not making this movie successful.
Because 2011 is off the back of Alice in Wonderland, too.
Yeah. Although I am intrigued by Josh Brolin as the Hunchback, but other than that, I'm out.
Would you rather have Josh Peck?
Wow.
How about Josh Gad?
He's gone. Wow. No, definitely not Josh
Can
Gad.
we get a Mount Rushmore of Joshes that could have played Quasimodo?
Beckett, number one.
Mac, in 2014, Spike Lee almost directed a remake of Enter the Dragon from 1973. Billy Bob Thornton was set to play Roper. Nah.
Is this the movie where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar kicks Bruce Lee in the chest?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know. I'm going to look it up. Talk.
I'm pretty sure it is. Other than that, I don't know anything about the movie other than it being a Bruce Lee movie. So maybe there's a nice Lee connection there, Bruce to Spike. I'm not a kung fu guy. Obviously, it would have been different with a Spike Lee take on this, but yeah, I'm out on this.
Yes, he's in Enter the Dragon, I think. Ugh.
Yeah, I think he is. I'm pretty sure he is.
I'm out on this either way.
Yeah. Well, if they get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back, though, maybe. You know what? I bet Spike Lee would have. I bet Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would have showed up in the remake.
He's a really good actor, so good.
Go!
Hey, Mac, what's up?
Did you know that, I think we might have spoken about this one before. Did you know that The Departed 2 almost got made? Although many of the key characters in the first film are dead by the movie's end, spoiler alert, there was a script written for a sequel. It was ultimately shelved due to the expense and Martin Scorsese's lack of interest.
I think there's a reason why he had a lack of interest. Like, his types of movies, you don't want to tarnish what he's done. I know that you don't like The Departed, but like, you don't want a Goodfellas.
Like The Departed,
but you don't want a Goodfellas too. Right?
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Scorsese these days, and this is what that doesn't give a year on this. So The Departed was what, 05? Does that sound right?
Yes.
So maybe that movie would have come out 10 or 11. Maybe he could have done it well. If I am generally uninterested in things Scorsese's making these days, so if he is generally uninterested in something, that means it's doubly uninteresting. So I'm glad that movie didn't get made.
In 1992, John Carpenter was developing a remake of The Creature from the Black Lagoon at Universal. He originally hired Bill Phillips to write the script, while Rick Baker was hired to create the 3D model of the creature, but the project was never greenlit.
So it doesn't say whether or not it was gonna be full CGI, create 3D model. Maybe it was gonna be. I don't know how well that works in 92.
So that's 92. That's before Jurassic Park. So I think it's more of the stop motion / guy in a suit.
Yep.
I'm curious, and this is something, once again, you should have looked this up ahead of time. What were the projects that Carpenter was working on just ahead of this? Because was he in a cold streak?
Well, I was gonna say, 10 years before he makes The Thing, or 12 years before.
Yeah.
So I think you give him the leash there because he already remade a 50s classic and made it even better than the original.
Yeah.
I just don't know if there's a good version of The Creature from the Black Lagoon. I don't know if that could be made right or well.
You know what I was watching with my son earlier is Hotel Transylvania, the first one, classic.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm just thrilled that this is his introduction to Adam Sandler. This is his hashtag Adam Sandler.
Yeah, there you go. I'm glad you and your son.
It's
can
good,
share Adam
spooky fun.
Sandler.
My son loves spooky stuff.
Can't wait till he goes on a tour in about 15 years. Goo.
Yeah.
In 1991, director Sam Raimi, who, of course, directed Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3, pitched along with Marvel Comics writer Stan Lee the concept of a Thor feature film to 20th Century Fox. However, they didn't understand Raimi and Lee's idea, and the project was abandoned.
So 2 things here. My first thought is the studio just going, what?
Huh? So he's an
Thor?
alien, but he looks like a human.
Then my second thought is what percentage of this movie would be the camera on Thor's hammer just going around in a circle?
You'd get a lot of that. You'd also get like a hokey version of Thor. And based on people's reaction to Love and Thunder, I think they would have fucking hated this. I don't know. Sam Raimi shouldn't be a Thor director. It wouldn't work.
What if Brad Pitt was Thor?
You know what?
That wouldn't have happened in 91.
Brad Pitt might have been able to make it work.
Mac, in 1996, the script to Ghost of Mars 2001 originally started off as a potential Snake Plissken sequel. However, after Escape from LA 1996 failed to make much money at the box office, the studio did not wish to make another Snake Plissken movie.
I have never seen either Snake Plissken movie, Escape from LA or Escape from New York. So I can't speak to the quality of those films. I know they're kind of like cult classics more than they are like critically acclaimed movies. Yeah. I've also never seen Ghost of Mars, so I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
I don't have much either. I've seen New York, and I do think that if they brought that character back now, I think you might, although actually I don't know. I was going to say you might get some like nostalgia bucks out of it, but we've seen over the past year or so that people aren't into these older characters anymore.
Yeah, I mean, still Kurt Russell's still kind of on top of the world in the 90s there, so maybe it works, but I don't know.
Do you think it would help out that Kurt Russell is still devilishly handsome right now?
He is still pretty attractive. Yeah, he's got some attractive children as well.
Like we've seen that, like, Ford had some issues with Indiana Jones, Keaton with Batman, but those guys, they're older and they're kind of ugly.
Ford went from like
Ford's just old, right?
He went from rough and scruff, kind of had an appeal, and now he's just
he was a rough and scruff hunk.
Simmons is old for sure. Goose, speaking of, after finishing They Live in 1988, John Carpenter, so there's an answer to your
There we go. We answered our own question.
Was going to direct an action horror film called Shadow Company, starring Kurt Russell, written by Shane Black. How about that?
Yeah.
And Fred Decker. However, due to problems in pre-production, the movie was never made. I would have been in it on that.
Yeah, that's
Kurt Russell in an action horror movie directed by John Carpenter. In.
And written by Shane Black.
Yeah. In.
Yeah, in.
Easy in.
That might be one of our first ins, like no questions asked.
Yeah, in a long time.
Back in 1989, John Carpenter.
Oh, we're on the run.
We should have read ahead. I guess we should have just read ahead on this. Was set to direct Pincushion. There we go. I thought it was like some kind of like a Pinocchio thing, like a
I
Pinuccian.
that's 100% thought you're gonna go with a Pinocchio type word.
Pincushion.
Pincusio.
Cher was cast in the lead role as or of a driver in post-plague America who must deliver a life-saving serum to save Salt Lake City, everyone's favorite city. The film went underdeveloped, leading to copies of the script being sold online.
I can't say I'm in on that.
Undeveloped, by the way, not underdeveloped.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna correct you there.
You can correct me.
I'm more interested in Pincusio over Pincushion, but
All right, so in on Pincusio, out on Pincushion.
out on the Cher-led Pincushion. in on
Pincusio.
Pincusio starring
I thought
Roberto
it was
Benigni.
like it was another what is her movie with Nicolas Cage? I'm blanking right now, where she plays an Italian. I'm like, oh, it's Pincusio.
Pincusio. It's just a fun word.
Yeah, mamma mia. Oh, by the way, I
Francisco.
also got an idea sent to me from @Quigs, whatever his full Twitter name is, and just said tier Italian stuff. He might have said tier Italian movies, but we can just tier Italian stuff. Movies can be in there.
Movies included. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in on that.
I'm telling you, Pincusio starring Roberto Benigni is a hit. That's an easy film to sell.
Top
right
tier
there.
Pincusio. Moonstruck, by the way.
Yeah, there you go. That's the rom-com there.
Yeah.
Unmade Indiana Jones movies.
We have a
very
string
relevant.
of these, baby.
Here we go. Indiana Jones Haunted Castle movie, written by Diane Thomas, who wrote Romancing the Stone. Steven Spielberg vetoed the idea because he'd just produced Poltergeist. Oh, so this is way, way back, and didn't want to repeat himself with something similar. So we're talking like early mid-'80s here.
This might be before Last Crusade.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Either way, I'd be in on this. This sounds awesome.
No, I think I'm out on that.
I'd be in on a ghost story with Indiana Jones.
That's a little stretch.
And that's prime Indiana Jones stuff,
yeah,
too.
that's true. That is true.
In. Count Gu in. Mac, unmade Indiana Jones movies, Indiana Jones and The Monkey King.
In.
No words needed. I'm in.
In.
Directed by Steven Spielberg, written by George Lucas. It was developed as the third Indiana Jones film before it was abandoned. The film had the Fountain of Youth as its MacGuffin.
In.
Yeah, I'm in.
Double in.
Once again, this is the sweet spot of Indiana Jones.
They should have absolutely made that movie.
Yeah.
Goo, another unmade Indiana Jones movie. Indiana Jones and the Saucer Men from Mars.
So I've actually heard of this one because this was like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. They're like, why is there aliens? And they're like, well, we thought about doing aliens.
This is written by Jeb Stewart. I don't know who that is. It was set to be the fourth film during the 90s. So that ended up being Crystal Skull was the fourth film.
Mm-hmm.
Indy would have faced off against Russian spies and aliens. Elements of it were retained in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
So I think that once again, this is in the 90s, say if it's early 90s, mid 90s, a younger Harrison Ford, I think, still could have pulled this off.
If it was more a Mars Attacks than Crystal Skull, in.
Mars Attacks might be too silly for it.
It definitely is. But I'm a Crystal Skull apologist, so
you do love Crystal Skull.
Take that for what it means.
Unmade Indiana Jones movies, Indiana Jones and the City of the Gods, written by Frank Darabont. Indy goes.
Shawshank.
Oh, well, hello there. I'll stop right there. I'm in.
Yeah, I think I'm in.
Indy goes on a search for the famed Lost City of the Gods, which is supposed to hold inside all the knowledge in the universe. George Lucas rejected the script.
Interesting.
And we know that George is really good at dialogue.
Yeah, he couldn't read half the words, so he just threw it out the window. I'm in on that.
Why aren't they yelling this stuff at me?
Goo!
Yeah.
Our Indiana Jones run is unfortunately over.
That was a hell of a time had by all.
Credit to all of us.
Yeah.
In 2002, Sir Anthony Hopkins revealed that he had written a screenplay for a Hannibal sequel, ending with Clarice killing Hannibal Lecter, but it was not produced.
Maybe it's because they didn't want to kill Hannibal Lecter.
I think that's part of it, and I also think that makes Clarice a lesser character. It would have ruined both characters.
Also, I don't know how good of a writer he is.
That's part of it as well. Yeah.
Do we know that he is literate?
I'm assuming he is, but I
Has he
can't
written
confirm
anything
it.
else? I guess that's my question.
I can't confirm that.
Guys, I got this script. It's written in crayon. In 1997, Jim Cameron expressed his desire to direct a remake of Richard Fleischer's Fantastic Voyage from 1966, but he left the project to focus on Avatar, and I'm sure this would have looked amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure if he put the effort into this that he put into Avatar, it probably would have been a pretty groundbreaking movie. So this was post Titanic. This is the next thing he's looking for. Obviously, he lands on Avatar. Avatar comes out in what?
Well, no,
2000...
this would have been before Titanic, but he probably would have made it after Titanic.
No, Titanic came out in '98, but I think it's pretty much done from Jim Cameron's end there.
Okay, yep.
Yeah,
You're
so
right. You're right, baby.
Because I think it comes out early '98, doesn't it?
And then
Or
also,
97?
if this is 97, 98, you know what the theme song would have been?
A Celine Dion song.
No. Coolio. Come along and ride on a fantastic voyage. Slide, slippity slide.
So Avatar came out in 2009, right? So he worked on Avatar for like 12 years.
His entire life.
Yeah, at this point, his whole life
Been
is
leading
Avatar.
up to Avatar.
And I hate him.
I love James Cameron. I am the biggest fan of Jim Cameron.
Also, the fact that his fucking Twitter ad is Jim really pisses me off. Speaking of that dickhead,
James was taken.
In 2010, that dickhead Jim was working on a film about Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a Japanese man that survived both the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945. However, the project entered into development hell after Cameron decided to focus on the Avatar sequels. Number one question I have here. Did that man move from one city to the next city and happen to hit the second bomb after he ran away from the first bomb? I'm interested in that story.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where is this story? Okay, if Cameron couldn't do it because he's so focused on Avatar, why didn't someone else do it?
I'm intrigued by that story. I need to know
this
more
is
about...
Do you think this is the spiritual sequel that we get to Oppenheimer?
So it's called, at least the art here we see is called The Last Train from Hiroshima by Charles Pellegrino. So I wonder if he hopped on a train from Hiroshima to Nagasaki and then fucking hit that bomb. Jesus Christ, that's crazy to think about. I'm all back into World War II stuff again after Oppenheimer. I think the most fascinating time in human history is post World War I up through the Cold War, because this was the first time that human technology was able to produce what human brains wanted it to. So technology finally caught up with the mind. Unfortunately, there were a lot of crazy people in charge of stuff at that time. So I'm fascinated with post World War I stuff, including obviously World War II.
Alien technology. Also, I think one of the best jokes is from John Mulaney, and he said that all dads are studying to be on a World War II quiz show.
It's pretty true.
Yeah.
Everyone has their fun facts.
In the late 80s, Arnold Schwarzenegger almost starred in Sergeant Rock. John McTiernan from Predator was set to direct. Steven D'Souza, Die Hard. Steven E. D'Souza? I don't like that Twitter
Probably his
handle.
middle initial.
Wrote the screenplay. Oh, he's a writer. He has to have his middle initial in there. I'm sorry.
You know what? I guess you have to be in on an 80s Arnie action flick.
Late 80s, yeah, with those two attached as well.
I guess I'm in. In on that movie. I don't love that I'm in on it, but I have to be. Goose, speaking of that motherfucker.
We are in a Schwarzenegger run.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to reunite with Total Recall director Paul Verhoeven to shoot a movie titled Crusade in 1993. But the plug got pulled by the production company. It was described as being a Middle Ages epic with a mix of Spartacus and Conan. You know what? Fuck. I'm kind of in on that too.
Yeah, that sounds pretty dope.
I'm kind of in on that.
Mac, in the early 1990s, Oliver Stone almost produced a Planet of the Apes movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So obviously the question becomes, would that have been better than the Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes movie?
Get your paws off me, you dirty apes.
I think there's a chance it would have been worse than the Wahlberg movie.
By the way, a part of the James Gunn hating Batman, like the 89 and all those other movies, you see in the thing that he thinks that Planet of the Apes, the Burton one, is way more inspired than Batman 89?
So So you can kind of get loosey goosey with that language. When you use the word inspired, you're basically saying there's a lot of good ideas in there. But what you're not saying is that they executed the ideas well. So it's sort of a backhanded compliment, right? And also it is an insult to the other stuff, saying that they're too run of the mill. So I'm not going to say I agree with James Gunn, but that's what he's saying in essence.
And then also, I might have just made that whole thing up. I might be misremembering.
Okay, well, we'll cut that out whether he said it or not. Edit that.
And even if he didn't, I'm just going to leave it in.
Yeah, I like my take on it. We'll just leave it in.
Let's go.
In the early 90s,
If he had said this.
It's like the OJ book.
Yeah.
Director Tony Scott from Top Gun and writer Peter Briggs from Hellboy almost made a Judge Dredd horror movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Briggs' script stayed faithful to the original 2000 AD stories, which introduced Judge Death and the Dark Judges.
Like, I think all of these movies.
I think I'm in on that.
Yeah. I think everything late 80s, early 90s Schwarzenegger, I'm in.
I think I'm in on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. In 1999, a Doc Savage film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the works with involvement from Frank Darabont and Chuck Russell, but it and several other Arnie projects were shelved when Schwarzenegger ran for and was elected governor of California. I would say I feel like he really wasted his time doing that.
No, I think it saved him in the graces of some people because he had 2 or 3 really bad movies in a row, and then he became governor, kind of got in people's good graces again, came back, and now people still like him. If he had made 4 years,
he could have made Doc Savage.
If he had made another 8 years of bad movies, we might have never seen him in a movie again.
Back when I was in art school, I used to do radio plays, and Doc Savage was one of the ones that I did.
Wow, credit.
I would do theater of the mind. I would voice all the characters. Yeah, I would voice all the characters, and I'd do all the sound effects.
Goo! In 2011, continuing
an art that needs to come back. Really,
continuing
theater of the mind
streak. Arnold Schwarzenegger almost starred in a film titled The Unknown Soldier. It was described as an action thriller with a supernatural twist. A loner wages war against a ruthless weapons manufacturer and his private army in the Southwest.
Out.
Probably out, kind of like the premise though. But because of
2011 Arnie's.
Yeah, I agree.
Arnie's.
I like the premise of the one versus all though. That's sort of why the John Wick thing has worked.
In the mid-90s and 2011, Schwarzenegger almost starred in a film titled With Wings as Eagles. A German colonel is ordered by the SS to kill thousands of American prisoners of war in the final days of war. He refuses and fights against his former comrades. This is interesting. I don't know if I would want Schwarzenegger, though.
So they essentially saw Schindler's List and was like, we can make that, but with action.
Yes. That's when I'm watching Schindler's List, I'm always like, I wish he would just like shoot someone.
Yeah. When I was watching Schindler's List, I was like, we need more guns.
Like a lot more guns. Give everyone guns.
Out on that movie. Goo!
Yeah. Yes.
In 1988, William Friedkin almost made a film adaptation of Don Pendleton's book series, The Executioner, with Sylvester Stallone set to play Mac Bolan.
I don't know what this property is.
Me neither.
And may I say this? I'm way more of an Arnie boy than a Sly boy. So I don't know if I'm in on all of these. So we're going to hit a run of Slys right now. And this might be the end of the podcast.
Yeah, that might be a good point to stop.
I don't love Sly, especially in this time, like the late 80s.
Let me phrase it this way, though. The best Stallone is light years better than the best Schwarzenegger. But baseline, Arnie not even trying, just being Arnie is better than baseline.
I was going to say, I love Arnie's personality and his charisma. Sly wrote Rocky, though.
Listen, you're just sort of saying exactly what I said. So we are agreeing to agree.
What? I feel like you're Sam Raimi pitching me Thor right now. I don't understand what you're telling me.
You're saying that the best Stallone is better than the best Schwarzenegger.
No.
You don't think so?
I like guys. Go on Twitter right now. Stallone or Schwarzenegger?
I don't think now Schwarzenegger can do comedy better than Stallone, but I don't think Schwarzenegger can dramatically act, and I think Stallone can.
That's a good point, but I prefer the charisma of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, so you like the fun Arnie over the serious Sly.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Hashtag serious Sly.
In 1988, Sylvester Stallone almost starred in a Jurassic Park-like thriller titled The Fatalis. In the story, saber-toothed tigers have sprung to life. I like that. Thanks to climate shifts from El Nino.
Remember El Nino? How big that
Chris
was?
Farley could have played this character. And are set to invade LA. An academic expert tries to stop this attack. I am so in on this. If they could have gotten these saber-toothed tigers to look like Jurassic Park dinosaurs, and I'm not sure that they could have in 1998 because we were in full, like, shitty CGI, Jumanji CGI.
Yeah.
But this is pulling me in.
That seems like a bad Jurassic Park movie. I'm out.
Yeah, but did you hear that they sprung to life? Thanks to the climate shifts of El Nino.
El Nino, what a throwback.
I know.
That was all the worry for a while there.
The 9.
Yes, the 9. Correct.
Always a great deal.
Goo!
Yeah.
In the early 90s, in the early El Ninos, Sylvester Stallone was attached to star in Gale Force, about an ex-Navy SEAL who defends a seacoast town from a gang of modern pirates during a hurricane. They're just adding stuff in. However, due to budgetary concerns, Carolco Pictures canceled the project.
Calico cut jeans. This was a Mad Lib of a tweet right here.
That was an interesting premise.
But, just to completely go off the board here, when I was looking for houses last year, we looked at a house in Salem, and we noticed across the street there was a 99 restaurant. And my wife is like, I wouldn't want to live right next to a 99 restaurant in a parking lot
all day, every day.
And what I said was, I don't think you understand that when the Red Sox win, our son is going to eat for free.
Yeah, free meal.
And that was something that I believed, and I pitched to her as like, this is a net positive.
We could save $800 a year on Rafi's meals.
Like,
if we move
it is almost
across from the 99.
It is almost irresponsible of us not to live across the street from this 99 restaurant.
I'll tell you that. So that would have been a perk for you and only you. I as far as like regional chain restaurants go, I don't think 99 is national. Maybe it is. 99 is pretty good.
National, it is delicious.
99 reasons you always come back for more.
Yeah, and 99 pounds that would have put on too. Yeah. So in 2003, Sylvester Stallone almost made a movie about the deaths of Biggie and Tupac.
I'm in.
And the LA Police Department corruption scandal that lurks beneath the story. The film would have been shot from several different perspectives, like the Japanese film Rashomon.
I'll tell you, Sylvester Stallone really colors himself an artiste.
And it would have been like an Eddie Murphy movie. He would have played the cop. He would have played Biggie. He would have played Tupac.
This movie would have been so bad that I actually need to see it. I am so in on this.
Yep. And. Yeah.
Did you know that Rambo 5 was originally going to feature Stallone taking on an intelligent, inhuman monster? Rambo would have led an elite special forces kill team to hunt and kill a genetically engineered creature. Rambo 5, The Savage Hunt, aka Rambo 5, Predator.
Yeah, I'm out.
We already saw this movie.
Mac, in 2004, which, by the way, the photo that is going to this tweet is
amazing.
2014. Yes. But in 2014, Sylvester Stallone almost made a gangster movie titled Scarpa. Written by Nicholas Piaggi, Goodfellas. The film would have focused on Gregory Scarpa's work as an informant for the FBI and helping solve the Mississippi burning case.
No. We've seen, if Stallone is involved in the making of the movie and not just an actor, it goes awry. It's always less good than it should have been. So I am definitely out on that. Goo.
Hey, I'm here to help you with the Mississippi Mother.
I think we have one more Stallone. That'll be a good spot to end it.
Yes,
Our
good
last Stallone only film trivia here. In 2016, Oliver Assayas almost made a film titled Idol's Eye. A thief played by Robert Pattinson unknowingly steals a diamond from Chicago mob boss Tony Accardo, played by Stallone, setting off a war between the two men as they both try to keep one step ahead of the FBI.
Could we get this movie without Stallone?
I am intrigued
That's
by
my
the
question.
premise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pattinson, so he's essentially playing a similar role as he does in Good Time, or similar character.
Yeah.
That would be really intriguing, but you're right. Stallone's involvement makes it less good.
So, what was your favorite movie that we talked about here today?
You know what? It might be the Biggie and Tupac Stallone movie. What was the one we were all in on?
We were all in the one that was Carpenter, Black, and
yes,
Kurt
the
Russell.
80 action horror movie. I also want to see that Jim Cameron World War II movie.
I also really want that Sabretooth sprung into action movie. Guys, let us know which movie you want to see from all these ones that we just did.
Let's get into Max.
And Maxac could be anything it could be about. And this week, Mac, have you seen the news? Have you heard this news? McDonald's will be getting rid of their self-serve soda machines. This will be completed in 2032. The reasons: concerns of theft and hygiene.
Oh boy. So the hygiene is a reasonable concern if you were to believe that McDonald's employees are keeping up with hygiene. This is an overreaction to some like fanatical things you see on social media of people stealing soda. The pennies that they're losing because 5 people a day take soda instead of water in their water cup is ridiculous and pales in comparison to the overhaul they're going to have to do across the country here. It also saves a lot of time up front because now you don't need employees pouring sodas and making a mess.
They're handing you a cup.
So it just, I guarantee you this doesn't go through. They're going to reverse this.
When was the last time, and mind you, I'm not asking you about drive-through. When was the last time you ate in a McDonald's?
Inside of a McDonald's?
Yes.
Holy shit. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I don't know. Sometimes I've gone in to order because the drive-through line
Okay,
is long,
so that was my next question.
But I leave. I don't eat in there. I eat in my car or on the way home or whatever.
I eat and cry in my car.
I don't think I've sat down at a McDonald's in a very long time.
Did you fill your soda in there? Did
Yeah,
you
I
get
must have.
orange high C?
No, I actually usually get a bottle of water. I'm not a big soda guy, and they don't have my 2 favorite sodas, Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper.
Ooh, do we have to tier sodas?
Oh, we should. Did we? We didn't do that. I felt like we did.
No.
that.
I did a taste test. I did a taste test of Mountain Dew Code Red, which is still great.
Yeah.
Except for the aftertaste and like the next 5 minutes where you can still taste the Code
We
Red.
should tier sodas.
At Billy D, the other one, not the one that you're thinking of, but the other one that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, the secondary D.
October is coming up. We need to tier. All right, that'll do it for us. Mac, where can the people find us?
You can find us on Twitter and on Instagram at Mac and Goo Podcast. Every other platform, we are Mac ampersand Goo, Mac Shift 7 Goo. That includes Facebook, Stitcher, TuneIn, Casper, Speaker, Google Play, iHeartRadio. We're on Spotify, but more importantly, we're on Apple Podcasts. Get on there, rate, review, subscribe, 5 stars. If you do that, we'll get you a free Mac and Goo t-shirt from the folks over at Watertown Sportswear. That's Watertown Sportswear on 34 Mart Auburn Street in Watertown. WatertownSportswear.com, expert screen printing and embroidery.
tpublic.com. Join us next week for a dump, and then we have a couple of things that we're debating of doing. That's not even a real sentence. That's I just put a bunch of words together.
Yeah, you're like that tweet that didn't make sense.
I'm like a saber-toothed tiger ready to spring in your face. So join us then. Tuesdays are Goose Days. I abuse kangaroos.
Bye.
Now it's time for girls jumping on trampolines.
Please flip the cassette over to side B to continue the adventure.